Hello and welcome back to the Not That Oscar podcast. I'm your host, Oscar, and I'm joined, as always, by the brilliant Ben Gibbons. Ben, how are you, my friend?
How's it going, man? It's good. It's good.
It's been, look, I apologise to viewers and listeners. There was no episode from me last week. I said I was going to do a July recap. I didn't. I was very busy. I just came back from my brother's stag do, which took up a lot of my preparation time. I think I'm sober now. I've got to be totally honest. It took me a while. I'm not a massive drinker anymore these days, and one night of drinking just kind of took it out of me for the whole weekend. But it was good fun. I'm sure if you people follow me over on Instagram, you'll see bits and bobs over the coming months and up to the wedding and things. But Ben, what's been keeping you busy, man? It's been a few weeks.
Oh, just bopping along, doing the bits and pieces that I do, covering. I mean, I need to be posting a lot more on social media. I'm always looking up to you and seeing all the things that are coming out every single day, post after post.
Yeah.
I'm just here doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of different things for reviewing films and TV. I've got a few shows that I'm reviewing this month, so you can look out for those on Screen Rant. I'll have a few of those come through. Yeah,
It's been a weird, like, I feel like there's nothing. We're talking about three or four different films today, guys. So we're going to cover D23. We're going to do Sunny Dancer, Tony, a little bit of End of Oak Street. We'll talk about Lanterns, and then we've got a little game at the end. It's sort of just a catch-up episode. There's been lots going on, but nothing feels like mega. Even the announcement at D23s, which we'll get onto, nothing feels groundbreaking at the moment. I feel like we're in a bit of an end of summer limbo. Is that how you feel as well?
Yeah, I think it's almost fair that we have like a little bit of downtime too, because I mean the massive monumental films that were the Odyssey and Spider-Man: Brand New Day, that was hectic. There was so much that was going on in both of those, and so while I think there's some good movies coming out and probably some like really underrated hits, it's definitely there's not been as much hype, there's not been as much anticipation for it, and so it is a little bit more chill right now. Yeah, I
And
totally agree.
those two that you mentioned are still like running the box office. I mean, Spider-Man
Yes,
just crossed 2 billion. I think it's scheduled for like a 2.6 finish.
crazy.
The Odyssey's on 1.4 billion. It's BFI's the IMAX at BFI's highest grossing movie ever. It did,
And Christopher Nolan's highest
and Christopher Nolan's,
grossing movie ever.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's those is what keeping people busy still. But there are some gems out there that we're definitely going to talk about. But I guess the biggest thing since we've been gone is D23, which is the Disney Expo held for shareholders. So it's not like San Diego Comic-Con, not like Hall H where Marvel announced the biggest and best things to all of these super fans. This is for investors to kind of keep everybody excited. There are content creators, there are critics and stuff that attend, but it's a slightly different format. So plenty of things were announced over D23, but I guess we'll start with the biggest of all, which was the X-Men announcement. Look, we spoke about this before the announcement happened, but we kind of knew everybody that was in line. There were a few surprises. So we'll go through each of the castings and just give a little how we felt about them. So X-Men is coming May 5th, 2028. It's the first film after the completion of the multiverse saga, which we both have expressed our excitement to finally get to. So I guess probably the biggest character, but maybe not the biggest casting, was Professor X. This is Christopher Abbott, who I adore. I am a huge fan of Christopher Abbott. I feel like he's not really had the reaction that I thought he would for that casting. But how do you feel about him? Do you know his work particularly well?
No, I didn't really. I'm always going to be a little bit biased towards Irish actors. Anytime someone Irish is cast in a role, I'm just 100% behind it immediately. I really, really like that crowd of people. I think it's a very similar reason to like British actors, where I think they have a lot of experience going in. They work really hard to get to the point where they can be on a stage with people that are in Hollywood. Whether that be coming through the route of doing things like theater or doing things like smaller productions, indie productions, and then working their way up. So after I heard about the announcement, I went away and I watched Bring Them Down.
Yes,
And
brilliant.
that is Christopher Abbott and Barry Keoghan. A fantastic movie. Really, really good.
Very good.
He is phenomenal in it. He's excellent. And so I'm very excited to see more of what he does. I'm excited to see this kind of like a darker kind of take on a character, maybe, to see something that is a little bit more grounded, a little bit more gritty. I was shocked that he was 40. When I looked up his age afterwards, I was like, this dude looks the age as everyone else that's on that stage. And he's there with a bunch of 20-year-olds, you know? But he's 40 years old. I think he's going to be a really good fit for the role and someone who has a longevity to it that can be in it for the next long while, like Patrick Stewart.
I do think it's interesting how they're sort of setting this up. The core cast are youngsters. They're all in their 20s. And what's really exciting is this is how Marvel used to do their castings, right? They always used to go for the young people that we didn't really know. There are some big names, but people that were still new to the industry, sign them for quite cheap. You know, a lot of these actors will be getting a few 100,000. The big dogs will get millions, of course. But, you know, Indy Navarrete will be on 250,000 for this first X-Men movie. And then she will build her way up to the millions. But you're agreeing to a long-term commitment. These characters are going to be on our screens for 20 years, at least. And that's really exciting. I think they are committing to the future. And they could have gone for a bigger name for Christopher Abbott. They were for Professor X. There were other people circulating as well. There was a Skarsgård brother in there. I know they'd previously spoken about what's his name from Patrick Wilson. He was being spoken about. So there were bigger names circulating, but I think they've gone for the person they think can do a better job, which I like.
I think that's the right way to do it. I think you need to pick the best person for the job, regardless of how much of a name or a presence they bring to the project. That's one of the benefits of the MCU, that it kind of already has a built-in fan base. So you're not usually hiring people in to kind of get their audience. You know, there are a couple of people that fit in that category, but not many.
So then, alongside the rest of the X-Men cast, we have two or three potential villains. We don't know how this is going to set up. There were rumors that it was going to be like the original 5. So we are currently missing Angel and Iceman from that list, if that's what they plan to do. But the sort of core X-Men in this, we have Kit Connor as Cyclops. Brilliant actor. There was a lot of conversation around whether it was going to be what's his name?
The other fellow that was in The Long Walk. I know who you're
Cooper Hoffman.
talking about.
Cooper Hoffman.
There you go, Cooper Hoffman. Yeah.
Well, it feels early for me. So there was lots of talk about being Cooper Hoffman, which I liked, but I also really enjoy Kit Connor in this role. I'm happy with that, to be honest. And that he's a big name. He's a big name, but youngster.
Yeah, he's gotten really popular with things like Heartstopper. I've not watched that, but I hear good things, and I think he looks the part. So I'm excited to see more of him.
And he's in Warfare as well, which was truly brilliant. He's leading the upcoming Elden Ring movie as well in 2028. Wow. So he's got a busy year with probably 2 of the biggest releases of that year, to be honest. I think Elden Ring's going to be huge for A24. We then, of course, have Sadie Sink with Jean Grey. We knew this casting because of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spoilers for that one, I guess. But again, I think I do like her as Jean Grey. We still need to see a lot more. And obviously that's where this reboot will deliver that. But I'm happy with it. She was fine in Brand New Day. We spoke about her in length.
I thought she was quite good. I thought she really captured a lot of emotion in that part. So I'm excited to see her get to play it more and take over kind of the reins, lead a show. Yeah.
She's, funnily enough, she's probably one of the most expensive actors in this lineup out of everybody. Yeah. You know, she's probably the youngest or second youngest, and maybe being paid the most alongside Adam Driver, who we'll mention in a moment. Indy Navarrete as Rogue. This felt like the most interesting casting for me, and most headline worthy. I think 2 things here. I maybe would have preferred Kaylee Spaney or Odessa Zion as Rogue, but wanted Indy in X-Men. I wanted her as Mystique. I like fine that she's in the film as Rogue. I do feel like this casting is a little bit of them going, well, we've got a bunch of actors that are quite new, and so's Indy, but she's also a really big name. And I think it's quite smart to sign her, because what we've seen so far, she's a good actress. But she's got a long way to go, and she's probably still quite cheap, despite the fact that she is one of the biggest names right now.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? Because she was in Obsession. That was obviously a massive, massive thing, and she is very talked about. But with that movie, I think she was paid very little. I think it was maybe
20
grand. 20 grand even. Yeah. So very small compared to what the actual overall was at the end of the day. They're crossed 400 million now for Obsession.
I think they're like basically once they've done like video on demand, it'll settle around 480 at the end of the year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's perfectly fair. It was an indie project. It was made for a festival. They weren't expecting to take off in that way. So paying 20 grand, that was a good
pay.
That was a good price at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But she didn't have work for a year after that. She mentioned no one else was hiring her. She didn't have any other project, and it was only when the movie released that she got so much more attention and so much more eyes on her. So I think she's a great pick for this role. Largely because I really like the kind of like interpretations of Rogue from shows that I watched when I was younger, like X-Men Evolution and things like the early kind of X-Men show. And I think Rogue is a lot more playful and a lot more interesting and intriguing as a character in those than what we've seen in live action films before. So I think she's a good choice. And I think from seeing her, I watched Superman and Lois, where she's a main character for the first 3 seasons. And I think she's got like the girl next door kind of vibe and the energy down. She is playful, she's engaging, and far beyond just playing a villain or a dark horse or an evil kind of character or something that's even complex. She is capable, so I'm excited to see more of her in this role.
I'm intrigued to know which of these characters will end up being the main villain. Obviously, we have Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister, which will more than likely be the main focus in this one. But we know that Kevin Feige has been trying to hunt down Adam Driver for years in Marvel. Was
like
offering
a decade,
him everything.
right?
But and it was kind of a tradition to offer him the role. He says no, we move on. But the fact they finally got him for Mr. Sinister feels like this is going to be a strong script. Because why would Adam finally say yes? You know, of course money talks, but I feel like he's in a point of his career where he's doing genuinely good roles, and he's not just taking paydays. So I have high hopes for Mr. Sinister. It's clearly he wants to tap into that villain role a bit more, like with Kylo, which I loved. So I'm happy with this one.
And to that point, I think as much as money talks, I think Marvel is not in the position that it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I don't know that the payday would have been any more today than it would have been previously. So I do think you're onto something with it being a really solid script. I'm very excited to see what he does with Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, and, you know, they don't want to be doing these like long-term exclusive contracts like they had to do with RDJ, and now he's earning 100 million for 2 movies. They cannot do that. So even if Adam Driver's a one-off villain, he might be on like 8 to 10 million, I reckon. I don't see it being more than that. But really intriguing that he's involved. I hope he stays a part of the franchise for longer and is maybe like a reoccurring threat to the X-Men. I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's actually not that far away now. You know, the movie will be looking at trailers in 18 months' time, which is nuts. The other potential villain is Emma Frost, which is being played by Samara Weaving. The first casting that we knew about a couple weeks back. I love Samara. She's a bit of a scream queen. Ready or Not she's brilliant in. She recently did Over Your Dead Body, I think, on Hulu. And she's a brilliant actress. I still don't think is she really well known or not?
I think in horror circles she's definitely well known because I think she stars in a lot of horror, like you've just mentioned with Ready or Not, but also The Babysitter and quite a few other projects where she's kind of like been a big prominent presence in those projects. And so in horror circles, yes, I think she's well known. Outside of that, not so much.
Of course, because she's in Scream as well. Bless you. So she's in Scream.
Thank you.
And then she appears in plenty of other big films. But I think is sort of tends to be the main star within horror. So
yes,
I imagine Emma Frost will be the sort of in between good and bad character, maybe the one that's on the fence, and Sinister will be the core bad guy. The only one we're missing off this list, which is I'm going to be honest, maybe the one I'm most excited by, and this is Storm, played by Maya Boyd, who we don't know at all. A complete, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, a nobody within the film circle, right? She's apparently very good theatre actress. She's led a few big plays, but her audition must have been incredible. And I mean that again as a compliment, because there were some huge huge names up against playing Storm in the MCU. I mean, it was starting with Cynthia Erivo. I wanted Jamie Lawson from Sinners, but for it to go to somebody that looks the part for now, but we know nothing about, is really exciting because we know how big Storm will be for the X-Men.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it as well. And I've been kind of joking because it is a thing, like, several of these characters are big theater actors, right? So we've got Sadie Sink, who's been in a lot of theater. Chris Rabbitt's been in a lot of theater. And Maya Boyd, obviously, is known for theater. I'm kind of just thinking, like, what if we end up with a musical project? Like a musical X-Men special?
It's like Joker 2.
Let's hope not. Not like
let's
that.
hope not, yeah.
No way. But I think it's fun. I think it's interesting, and it's definitely a pool of talent that needs to be tapped into even more. I mean, we've gotten incredible results from that sort of arena of characters in the past. Patrick Stewart, big theater actor, Shakespearean actor, so a lot of incredible performers come out of that kind of circle.
I think it's really exciting. I mean, I trust Jake Schreier. Kevin seems really excited by this project, and he said a few times there's literally hundreds of X-Men plot lines that haven't been addressed at all, which gives me an inkling we're not going to see any kind of repetition of what we've had in live action so far. There might be a few character arcs that are slightly similar, but I don't think we're getting Magneto as a core villain for a long time, probably. I'd like them to stay away from that because it feels quite recent still. I don't think we'll get Dark Phoenix too soon, which is good. I mean, it's very easy to just do a better job than what we have had.
Forget that plot. We've seen it too many times. I'm done.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a full circle moment for Kevin as well, though, because obviously he did a lot of work with those early X-Men movies in the 2000s, and so no wonder he's excited. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, so that's X-Men. That's like the big thing that came out of D23. There were plenty of other announcements. If there's any that I mention or don't mention, Ben, do jump in and say we got a teaser for the Simpsons movie. I've never watched Simpsons in my life. I've never seen the first Simpsons movie, so my excitement level for this is maybe like a 2. Are you excited for the new Simpsons?
Do you know what? I've not watched it in a lot of years, but I watched it growing up. I watched the Simpsons movie first time round. I'm not as enthusiastic about the franchise now. I think there's better adult animation than the Simpsons. It laid the groundwork for a lot of things, but now I think I'm more of a Rick and Morty guy than a Simpsons guy. Okay. So yeah, I'm not that enthusiastic.
I think unless the Simpsons movie makes $1 billion, I reckon this might be the end of the Simpsons. I think they're pushing on season 40 now, aren't they? I think. Like the late 30s. I think some things have got to come to an end. But I don't watch it. But I would just quite like us to have something new, maybe. We got some first looks at Coco 2. No surprise that that's got a sequel. Ernesto is going to be returning. We got some new character designs. Coco was good. I liked it. It's not targeted at me, to be honest.
I preferred The Book of Life. It was one of those movies that came out in like a twin movie kind of situation, kind of the same as Bugs and Ants. Book of Life is a phenomenal movie. When I watched it the first time, I watched it on Netflix, and I watched it 3 times in 24 hours because it's unbelievable. It's really, really good. It's about Dia de los Muertos. If you like Coco, you'll love The Book of Life. So that's my recommendation. Forget about Coco 2. Go watch Book of Life.
All right, you've heard it here. Lilo and Stitch 2, no surprise that's got a sequel. The live action, of course. Apparently they're not following the original animated sequel plotline, which is good because that was awful. This features a character called Angel, which is like a pink version. So again.
Now that is a character that appears in the cartoon, the Lilo and Stitch cartoon. I watched that when I was younger, but no, I'm excited to see the story built out. I think that's what they need to do with a lot of the live action ones. Forget what the original plot is, update it, change it, adapt it. I think it's better that way.
I'm not crazy about live action, but if you're going to do them, why don't you make them original stories but with the characters we know? And it's like, right, you're getting your guaranteed box office here, but also we're getting something more enjoyable that doesn't feel like a rerun.
And we already got that a little bit with Lilo and Stitch 1. Out of all the other movies, I mean, the first Lion King... Yeah, the first Lion King was almost like a beat-for-beat retelling of the same story, right? But Lilo and Stitch, I feel like, is, if not the first, one of the first live-action projects that actually made some changes. and it's like, okay, we're going to go our own way and have a little bit of a difference. So I like what they're doing with this, and it's the only live action from Disney that I think I'm all that keen to go and see.
Yeah. We got to look at Tangled as well, the live action. That's going to be huge for them.
It is,
Funny
yeah.
enough, the biggest crowd reaction of the night from the videos that I saw was not any of the X-Men announcement, but Catherine Hahn she's playing Mother Gothel. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that sounded like the biggest, most exciting reaction. So I like her. She's
I think
a cool actress.
we just have to confirm that Catherine Hahn is a Disney princess at this
Yes.
point, right? Having been in Marvel, Agatha all along, and now taking over as Mother Gothel in here. She's not a good guy, but she's a princess all the same.
Yeah, definitely agree. 2028 is a big year because pretty much all of those are in 2028, including Incredibles 3, that was first announced 2 years ago. We basically don't have any kind of plots or footage. They just gave us some concept art, which looks really cool. I will hopefully remember to throw some stuff up on the screen. If you're just listening to this on Spotify, you can watch it on Spotify or watch it on YouTube. We got a little look at the villain. I don't know whether it's a human or some kind of space entity, but I like Incredibles a lot, so I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, me too.
There was some news circulating. This didn't come directly from D23, but I do want to quickly mention it. That Marvel Studios are cutting back massively on their live action shows. And I think TV in general, they are kind of a bit more wary of. Daredevil Born Again won't be affected. And their Marvel Presents, spotlights, one-shots, those like special presentations won't be affected either. But we have one big live action TV show coming this year and one more in January of next year. I think they might be like our last two major ones, which we'll speak about. So it's no surprise. I don't think they've been doing the numbers they wanted. I mean, Daredevil Born Again season 2 is down into like the hundreds of thousands, like per episode. I love that show. I don't want it to ever end, but I can kind of understand. So the final two big shows, I think probably, is we've got Vision Quest coming this October. I'm incredibly excited for. You weren't prior to D23, but now that we have a trailer and some looks at Vision, Ultron, we have all of the AIs appearing, Edith, Friday, Jarvis, but in their human form, which is really exciting. Thoughts, feelings? The trailer looked good, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm more hyped for it now.
There
definitely.
we go.
With the live action like AI assistants, and even seeing Jarvis in live action, that actor who plays that character was also in the Agent Carter.
Yes.
And he played the person that eventually Jarvis kind of voice would be modeled after, I believe. And so I'm really excited. I'm excited to see some returns. I'm excited to see the story develop. I'm also very excited and glad that they're involving the kids of Vision and Wanda. And so getting to see more of that play out, I think, is going to be really good.
And it's really interesting because they've said this is the end of that trilogy of WandaVision, Agatha, and now Vision Quest.
Yeah.
But going into Doomsday, there's been some talk that Vision Quest is more important than WandaVision. Like, WandaVision is not one of the shows that Disney have been saying you have to watch prior to Doomsday. But Vision Quest is the final project before Doomsday, which makes me feel like we're never seeing Wanda again. Which people are saying she might be a Latvian witch or something working for Doom. I don't know. But I'm excited by seeing more Vision. I think he's a brilliant character. James Spader as well. He's fantastic. I was always a huge fan of Ultron. I think he could have been a good villain for like a trilogy of films, which we didn't get. But having him in a show at least is better than nothing. So excited for that. And then the other Disney Plus show, which is becoming a January release, which is never really a good sign. It is weekly releases, so maybe that helps that they're not dumping in one. But this is Ahsoka Season 2. I liked Ahsoka Season 1. I think it definitely had some rough edges that needed fixing. Anything with Anakin and Hayden Christensen returning works for me. I think you can tell they really like him over there because they're putting him in this show a lot. But it's not a good sign. It's had delays. It's now coming in January. Thoughts?
I fell off the Star Wars train a while back, to be honest. With the movies, I really enjoyed the movies. The Mandalorian season 1, I really enjoyed, but then things got really drawn out, and I wasn't all that into it. So I know it almost seems hypocritical as a die-hard MCU guy who's like following every single project and watching all the TV shows, but Star Wars didn't keep my interest like that. And so I haven't seen Ahsoka season 1. I've seen a little bit of the Book of Boba Fett. I've seen some of Andor. I need to watch the whole of Andor. Obviously, that's been praised in a big way. But yeah, I'm not excited. I think all the reasons you've just listed, again, it's kind of like a dying breed, and it's just, yeah, it's been weird, man.
And then they're like other big reveal. They're one that sort of was hoping to get Star Wars fans excited whilst we wait for whatever the next trilogy might be, was Star Wars Starfighter. Now, they didn't release the public trailer for this. There was rumors from insiders that we would get a 60-second teaser trailer. I saw the leaked version of this on Twitter. Not that I promote watching leaked footage, because there was some stuff going around for Beyond the Spider-Verse which wasn't finished, and that upset the creators. I did see the leaked one for Star Wars Starfighter. Man, does this look average? This movie looks so mid. And again, it was 60 seconds. We're still, 8 months away from this film coming out. Oh man, my excitement levels for this film, if it was anything above a 6, is definitely in the 1s or 2s right now.
Rough. Is that the only project of the night where they shared a trailer or footage and then they didn't share it publicly after?
Frozen 3 also got a little teaser.
Okay.
But it's
interesting.
That is not ready to go for the public. There was talks around maybe we would get like a BTS kind of thing, like in the recording booths. But they showed the villain for Frozen 3 and that Olaf has got a girlfriend. And like the wedding is being interrupted, so the little snippets for the crowd, but it was just Starfighter and Frozen 3 that didn't get public releases yet. But the Starfighter one, I wonder whether they had it ready to go for the public, wanted to see how the internet reacted. Oh man, I'm so nervous because we have that duo doing Ghost Rider as well, so it's not even not
even duo, trio.
Yeah,
because we have the writer as well.
If Starfighter is bad, I can live with that. But if Starfighter is bad, I'm terrified for Ghost Rider, which makes me even more upset. So I don't know, man. It's tough.
It is tough. I don't know. I can't speak to having faith or even a belief in Star Wars projects these days. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to kind of judge based on how this movie performs, how it comes out, and how it shapes up closer to the time, right? Because a leaked trailer is looking mid right now. Who knows what's going to happen with projects or trailers that we see in the run-up. So fingers crossed things start to pick up, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and then that pretty much rounded out everything that was mentioned at D23. Again, it's not for the fans. Obviously, we're going to benefit from it.
There's a Bluey movie as well.
Oh, yeah.
Kids are quite excited about. So
apparently D23 went wild for that. I was listening to another podcast from the Ringerverse, the Midnight Boys, talking about some of the crowd reactions, and they said the Bluey reaction was wild. Like, people are excited for that.
Bluey is sick. I know it's a kids show, but it's so good. The moral lessons, the way that they're able to integrate those things, the comedy, the humor, everything about it is really, really solid. I will be honest, I'd prefer that they did another season instead of a movie.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for more Bluey, and so are my kids. So, I can definitely speak to that.
I've never watched any Bluey. I did see that it was 3D animated now instead.
You're missing out. You're missing out.
maybe I'll clock in for the film. Who knows? I did heavily consider going to watch the new Paw Patrol Dino movie. The trailer's great. I'm not being funny. The trailer for that is so good. Every time it came on and you got the little bulldog guy going, I've got little legs, it's as fast as I can go. I'm there clapping, cheering, whooping. I'm like, yes, that looks great.
Hey, if you want to borrow my kids so you don't look like a weirdo in the cinema alone, that's mate. All good.
That was it for Moana. I go see pretty much every movie, and it was the same for Lilo and Stitch last year. I was like, I went to the first screening, and I was like, surely it won't be busy because I know kids are obviously not doing stuff on a Wednesday like midday, but I thought maybe it's a little early for parents to be like, oh, let's go see the first screening, and got in there. Moana, man, I looked dodgy. I looked so dodgy, and I looked because I was depressed by how bad it was, and how these kids like having the time of their lives around me. I was like, oh, I can't be seen in here. I've got to put my hood up and disappear.
You know, some cinemas don't even let you book a ticket when you just book an adult ticket to a kids show like that. Like literally, they'll be like, "This is a children's film."
What are you doing, you strange man? Go home, yeah. So I will see about the Bluey movie. We'll maybe discuss that closer to the time. Let's switch. We've got a couple films. We've got like 3 films plus a show we're going to talk about. We'll try and fit those in within a 30-minute time frame, and then we've got a fun new game to be playing at the end of this episode. Let's talk about Sunny Dancer, because this has kind of been circulating cinemas for the last few weeks. I saw it the start of August at a screen unseen. You saw it yesterday, is that right?
No, I saw it Friday.
Friday, okay.
Friday or Saturday.
And people have a weird feeling about Bella Ramsey, which I can't get my head around. I think it's just bigots online, basically. I think she's brilliant. I absolutely adore her as an actress. Now, this movie is a coming-of-age teen drama that follows a teenager, Ivy, who's in remission from cancer, and her mum and dad insist that she must attend Children Run Free Camp, which is a summer retreat for young adults that have been affected by cancer. But Ivy is very reluctant to go and is dragged through this camp experience, but realizes and discovers new feelings with new friends. It's a beautiful movie. I mean, I found it utterly heartbreaking. We'll talk about the plot in a moment, but how do you find you react to films like this? Because I had heard on the grapevine that it was a tough watch. You needed to bring tissues, and I was just swept away by it. I really, really had a brilliant time. As emotional as it was, I adore things like this.
Yeah. I'm head over heels for really emotional projects and things that approach serious subjects. It doesn't have to be something with a lot of CGI and a lot of crazy action and all that sort of stuff for me. If it's emotional, if it grabs a human story and tells that, I'm sold. Like I'm fully in, you know? And so with this movie, I went in fairly blind. I had a look maybe at the description, just peeking beforehand, because I do like as much as I can to go into movies blind. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I really adored Bella Ramsey in the role. I really adored the way that the story played out, the twists and turns, the heartbreak that we get along the way.
Yeah.
It did a lot for me.
It's quite interesting to have a coming-of-age drama that was a 15 as well. Like there's obviously not like there's gore and blood and guts in this movie, but it's full of profanity, which I think works quite well in this scenario, because you're really getting this rebellious kid who is rebellious by nature, but because she feels like, you know, she's obviously gone through one of the hardest things in life. You know, she's in remission from cancer, and she's been sent to this camp where it's like celebrating people that have either nearly died or are still potentially dying from cancer. And it's a very hard-hitting subject. And I liked that it was R-rated. It didn't feel sort of forced upon it. And it meant that these kids could kind of run free and express themselves. It really worked for me, and I don't know whether I knew it would work. But what's maybe stuck with me with this movie is it's quite evil in its plot line. You really get to experience character arcs for all 5 or 6 main children in this film.
Yeah.
And the final 10 or 15 minutes is just absolutely devastating. I think for this one in particular, let's avoid saying what it is, because it doesn't feel like a coming-of-age drama should have spoilers. But for some reason, the way this is written, I'm going to check who wrote it. It's a heartbreaker. It caught me by surprise. How did your audience react to this one?
I think it was fairly quiet in the room, to be honest. There wasn't like a big kind of like swelling or a gasping or anything like that. It was a fairly quiet room. I think that makes sense, really. But yeah.
Because
what was your audience like?
We had a lot of like gasps and stuff like that. It was we had great laughter throughout the movie. Everybody was really enjoying it. And did
you see it coming?
Um, I didn't. I don't think I saw it coming until that first reveal. There's like a 10-minute segment that it happens over. As
Yeah.
soon as you got that first hint at it, I was like, oh, I've understood. And there was some delayed reactions in my crowd. I think it's hard to speak on it, but I think it's important for this one to not, because it really gets swept by the emotion if you don't know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it coming, not in that capacity at least. And it's a really interesting topic to deal with. Someone that basically just goes through heartbreak again and again and again and again. It's a hard movie to watch. It's not something you stick on if you're trying to have like a jolly date night. This is, I think, one of the movies maybe either going in completely blind and be willing to be swept away, or being prepared and choosing to put on a heartbreaking film. And I think that's when you're best suited to watching this.
I agree.
But how did you rate this? I've just seen, but you can tell the listeners.
Yeah, so I gave it 5 stars. It seems like a trend in this chat that we and it's ridiculous because if you look on my letterbox, I've watched a crap load of movies in between. There's 3s in there, there's 4s, there's 3.5. Like every time we talk about a movie, it ends up being a 5 star. I felt a very strong connection to this movie. My first girlfriend that I dated from I was 16 till I was 18. It was a 2-year relationship. She had cancer as a kid. When she was 8, she was diagnosed with cancer, and as she was growing up, she went into remission, and then she got to go through this group that was a cancer camp called Canteen. And so me watching this 16, 17, 18-year-old girl grow up and go through these different things brought a lot back to me. And so there's a deep reason. Again, all these movies are made for me. It's crazy how much they're made for me. But yeah, it really hit me, and it brought back a lot that I thought about and felt. I love the reframing of what is important in life. We were talking about there being a lot of profanity and it being age rated like a little bit higher. The thing is, for these kids, they are kids and they're going through and they're maybe doing things that are a little more adult. But it also just is showing you, okay, life is not about these rules that are set up at this age and you cross this barrier and you're allowed to do this. It's about so much more. There's so much life to live. There's so much important stuff that goes into things. And so this movie really spoke to that, reframing life, what is important, what is worth kind of like fighting for, what is worth crying over, what's worth breaking your heart for. Yeah. And so this movie just hit me in all of those ways. And yeah, it deserved every one of those 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm up there with you. I gave it 4 stars and a like. I felt very much emotionally attached to this one the same way I did for Rental Family. Things that are like family based often get me. I've been very fortunate to not have known anyone, I don't think, that's had cancer or been through cancer, not like directly related to me at least. So if I come from the perspective of I have that sort of naivety to it all. It's like, how could anybody ever go through this? Like it almost feels like it's something that's only experienced in movies to me. Which I think gets me in turn because it feels so devastating, which of course it is. But yeah, films like this and Rental Family, I find deeply emotional and now and then really enjoy. I don't seek these out particularly loads. I know there are some great ones out there. So if you do have films that have reminded you of Sunny Dancer, please do comment. You can comment on Spotify and on YouTube. So please do get involved and let us know, and me and Ben can reply to those or speak about them in upcoming episodes. But yeah, I gave that 4.5 and a like, and from pretty much everybody that I know that's seen it has thought very positively about it. A movie that is very different, but also similar in terms of its coming of age, is Tony. And I think we're pretty safe to talk about the plot of this one because it is a biopic of sorts. But what I've loved so much about Tony is it didn't feel like a biopic. So this is about 19-year-old Antonio Bourdain, who goes on to become the very famous chef and writer, as he travels to Provincetown and stumbles into the chaotic world of a restaurant kitchen, setting off a summer that will shape the course of his life. If, as a sort of set in the ground, if you've ever seen Mighty Supreme, Good Time, any of the Anxiety trilogy, anything about a stubborn young man that thinks the world will fall at his feet. This is that kind of story. And it doesn't feel like a biopic for 1 second, and yet it is. And it tells this story of young writer and chef. Oh my God, I loved it. This is one of my...
Yeah, I mean, it's so...
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's so outrageous in the way that it approaches things, isn't it? Like, I agree that it doesn't feel like a biopic because some things are just so bafflingly wild. And it's like, did that happen? It's one of those movies that you are going to go away and you're going to Google what was real, what wasn't real, what was beefed up, like what's going on. This is a crazy story. Anthony Bourdain, I know him as a chef and someone who like has been working in that way for a long time. I believe he was the mentor to Gordon Ramsay, and so that's the only world that I've ever understood about him. And I suppose he's written about some of these stories in Kitchen Confidential, his book. But yeah, seeing an insight into his life and seeing kind of the journey to that, it was wild. It was really good. It was really exciting.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year we'll do a end of year podcast where we talk about like our biggest surprises, our biggest letdowns. This I was excited going in because the cast, who I'll mention in a moment, but I think probably will be my biggest surprise of the year. Just how much I enjoyed it. The way it looks, it's shot beautifully. It has this sort of slight grain to it. Definitely feels like you're running around in what I presume is like the 80s.
I think even earlier.
Earlier than that, the 70s. Yeah, because it had a 70s soundtrack. So the soundtrack's brilliant, but it oftentimes there is no music. You know, we have a lot of musical biopics these days. We need less of them for sure. And to have a biopic that a lot of times doesn't use any music at all and kind of lets you sit in the ambience of a kitchen and the chaos of it all, I really enjoyed it. I found it incredibly atmospheric. I thought it looked and sounded brilliant. But the on-screen cast, fantastic. Dominic Sessa, who you will most likely know from the new Now You See Me or The Holdovers, which was his feature debut, which is incredible, to be honest. So he plays Antonio Bourdain in this. Brilliant. I mean, career best performance, I would say, so far. Better than The Holdovers, as good he is in that. I think he has an exciting future, and might be in my conversation for nominations for stuff next year. Antonio Banderas, who plays a character called Chef in this movie, kind of helps mentor Antonio Bourdain. You know him as Puss in Boots. That's his probably his biggest, most famous thing. He's also the villain in Uncharted, is the other thing that I remembered him from. Emilia Jones, I don't think her character is particularly well written in this. She's kind of like the love interest.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant actress, but I think kind of swept under the rug in exchange for this being an Anthony Bourdain biopic, which is a shame, because I would have liked to see her be fleshed out a bit more. But she's a brilliant actress, and I think was good in this. Thoughts on sort of those are like the main three?
Well, I really like the character that was also in the kitchen with him, and kind of like, so he had two mentors, right? Because it was a chef, and then it was also the other guy who was
Leo Woodall.
Yes. He was really, really good. And I love the kind of complexity. I love the duality. I love that he was chasing two different paths, and that they were so starkly different.
Yeah. You basically had the head chef that was this absolute, perfect man, set up his own business. He chased the dream of being a big, fancy, popular chef, and now just wanted to have his own kitchen, and he loved to cook. That's all he wanted to do, and lived a very simple life. And then you had this rebellious oyster bar man that was sleeping with all the women he could. He drank loads, he smoked, he did cocaine in the kitchen. Real rebellious creature, very good looking, has his way with everybody, and just got away with it all. And then this 19-year-old that was kind of lost and trying to find his future, being dragged in opposite directions. And they couldn't be more polar opposites. And I liked seeing, as you said, that sort of stark difference.
Yeah.
Leo Woodall is, look, if you guys aren't on the Leo Woodall train now, you jump aboard because you'll be left behind. Tuna was great this year. He's the love interest in Mad About a Boy, the Bridget Jones movie. He's in Nuremberg, which was one of my surprises of last year. He's phenomenal, really, really good. But so was he? Would you say you're one of your favorites of the film?
Of the film, yeah, I think so. I think his character drove so much of the story along and really gave Anthony Bourdain pretty much every point at which he developed. Like everything was kind of instigated by his character at every moment, at every turn. And it was just a thing of Anthony Bourdain choosing whether or not he was going to follow or whether he was going to make his own choices and forge his own path. So I think, yeah, it was fascinating. I really enjoyed that relationship.
And I do think the way that this was pieced together, the director, Matt Johnson, I had not seen anything of his before. Had previously done Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which was massive in the US. I mean, they love the show over there anyway. I've not seen any of it. He did the Blackberry biopic. People speak heavily around Operation Avalanche and the Dirties. I knew nothing of Matt Johnson, but probably now bumping his stuff to the top of my watch list. I've got to be honest. So really exciting, and hopefully he can become, better known, and his stuff can get out there more. I don't know what he's working on next, but I will be there, 100%. Had you seen Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie?
I've not yet. I'm excited to see it when eventually I get a chance. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it has been out in the UK, but it was like super limited. So I'm sure it will make its way to streaming sometime this year. Anything else you want to add on that before I say 2 minutes on End of Oak Street?
I think we were going to chat a little bit just about 3 best biopics, if you were thinking that.
Oh yes, I do have my list. So
I've got mine.
Why don't you go for yours first, and then let's chat. What are your 3 favorite biopics?
Okay, so this is not in order of 1, 2, 3. It is just top 3, and I couldn't really kind of arrange them right now. But one of them is The Social Network. Mm-hmm. I adore The Social Network. I think phenomenal film. I think Jesse Eisenberg is absolutely incredible. I think the way that they tell the story and reveal things is just absolutely spectacular. Really, really great movie. Everyone needs to watch it if they haven't already. And it's getting a sequel soon.
It is. I'm a bit nervous about the sequel, to be honest.
I'm nervous about the sequel. I'm definitely nervous about it. But The Social Network was so good. I'm excited to see where things go. And So that's one of 3. Next, a complete unknown. So we talked about Timothée Chalamet in Marty Supreme. I really, really love him as Bob Dylan. We talked about musical biopics. I love a rebel movie. I love a little bit of rebellion. I love someone that's kind of like against the norm and being controversial. I really, really enjoyed this movie. And especially because I didn't know all that much about Bob Dylan going in. I feel like a lot of the biopics that I've gone and watched, whether it be Robbie Williams or someone else, you know a little bit of the story about them. And so you're going in with kind of preconceived notions. That one I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed kind of the journey and going along for the ride. And then third, we were talking about Christopher Nolan earlier on, but Oppenheimer has made it into my top 3. So I think Oppenheimer as a biopic, I think because it's so good and almost like we were talking about with Tony, where it doesn't feel like a biopic, Oppenheimer doesn't feel like a biopic. It feels like this just extraordinary story. And it is an incredible Nolan movie, incredible performances all around. Cillian Murphy is absolutely stunning. But those are my top 3 for biopics.
So I had Oppenheimer written on my list, and I was very conscious tonight of not mention the big ones, and I've never really enjoyed any of the musical biopics. I haven't seen Better Man, which I'm told is brilliant. So
it's really good. Yeah, genuinely, really, really good.
And I think people were kind of put off by the fact, like, why is Robbie Williams a monkey? Like, what's going on here? But I've consistently been told that Better Man is truly brilliant. I am huge on biopics that don't feel like biopics, which some people will say, oh, what's the point? But like, I think that's where it thrives best, because you're learning about this historical figure or whoever it might be, in a format that is yet still entertaining, and it's not just sort of being pushed down my throat. So the 2 that I've gone for alongside Oppenheimer was The King's Speech. I have seen this movie maybe 5 times. I don't know why it resonates with me so much. I love Jeffrey Rush. I love Helena Bonham Carter, and of course Colin Firth. It's so sweet, and it's so it's quite a relaxing watch as well. A drama, history, political biopic. It's everything that you could want. The British Empire always really intrigued me through school and through history and stuff like that. So
I was gonna say maybe you're just a royalist, and that's
yeah,
why it's up there,
maybe, yeah. So I love the King's Speech, and it's obviously only based on a very, very short period of King George's life. So I'm gonna ask for a bit of leeway on this one, but for me, the King's Speech is up there. And the other one is the Imitation Game.
I was weighing up whether or not I was going to include that one, but yeah,
I'm a huge like World War movie guy, but ones that run adjacent to the war stand out really strong. There's a film coming out later this year from Lucas Don't called Coward, which I saw at Cannes. That is a war adjacent movie, and it's incredible. And the Imitation Game is, you're not on the front line, but it is pretty much the biggest battle and most important battle of all. About Alan Turing, and you know, it's a queer movie as well, to some extent, and it's discussing sort of how sort of homophobic the British public was and our leaders were during World War II, despite the fact that this man cracked the Enigma code. It didn't matter what a saint you were still frowned upon for the way that you were as a human being. So it's an incredibly intelligent movie. It's shot beautifully. I think this is maybe Benedict Cumberbatch's best performance as well, in my eyes. Absolutely adore the Imitation Game, and I revisit it every couple of years. So those are my three, but a pretty different top three. I know we both share Oppenheimer, but if you guys have,
I almost went for Imitation Game. We're pretty aligned.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you guys have favorite biopics, let us know. Just please don't say Michael, because God, I've had enough arguing against how much I hate that movie. You're all entitled to your own opinion, but not that one.
We need to letterbox score Tony as well.
Oh, sorry, Tony. I gave 4 stars and a like.
I gave 4 stars and a like. There we go. Not a 5-star movie.
Not a 5-star movie, but it's bloody great. I'll tell you that. It is very,
it is.
very,
It's
very
solid.
Good.
It is.
So those are our favourite biopics. Put yours in the comment section as well. Let us know. Maybe it's a musical one. There are plenty that I haven't seen. I've not seen Elvis. I've not seen Better Man. And
have you seen Rocket Man? I
have seen Rocket Man. I really like that.
That was quite good.
Moneyball.
Bohemian Rhapsody was really good.
I like Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't mind it. Yeah. There's a lot of sport biopics out there that I think quite good. We've got Madden coming out later this year. Nicolas Cage, about the NFL guy. I don't know anything about it. Richard Madden. So
yeah, me neither.
But I'm excited for that one. Something that I was excited about before we give sort of 10 minutes to Lanterns is End of Oak Street, which I know you haven't seen. I'm just going to say a quick piece for the listeners. Oh my God, this film is so much fun. It is getting a lot of hate on the internet for being a bit trashy, but I'm going to be honest, it's the best dinosaur movie since Jurassic Park. Or Jurassic Park 3, if we're being particular. But it's David Robert Mitchell, who is known for being a horror director, did Under the Silver Lake, did It Follows. Truly incredible. He'd been writing this script for years and years. And it's done on an $80 million budget, and you have a high-octane dinosaur time travel movie. What more could you ask for? I feel like you can't keep anyone happy these days. This is like the perfect summer movie. It's been put in a horrible release slot between, just at the end of Spider-Man and the Odyssey. There's a lot else in there. It's a shame. If this came out maybe in June, we could be talking big numbers. Anne Hathaway in her second best performance of the year after the Odyssey. Ewan McGregor in his funniest performance I've seen in a long time. It's just the most wild thing. People thought maybe it was Cloverfield related. It ended up not being. But it's basically about this town that gets teleported back hundreds of millions of years, tens of millions of years, hundreds of millions, to when the dinosaurs, to the dinosaur age. and this small town has to survive. Many people don't. Many people kind of do. There's a very weird subplot around like the morality of mixing timelines, and the ending of this movie is incredibly peculiar and doesn't quite ruin it, but definitely reduces my score. I could have come out giving this like 5 stars. Like, easily could have gone like, this is the most batshit film ever. It is one of those ones you've got to release yourself to the whimsy of it all. All right, it's nuts. It's crazy. You've got Ewan McGregor knocks out a dinosaur with a sledgehammer at one point. It's like, what on earth am I watching? But they look great. They sound brilliant. It's quite scary at points. The best moments are when Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are just running through the street being chased by different types of dinosaurs. He's carrying a sledgehammer. She's got a rifle. It's crazy. It's utterly crazy. There are a few plot holes which are quite large that you definitely pick up on. The ending's a little bit funky. It kind of makes you question a few things. I settled on a 3.5 and a like. Definitely one of my most enjoyable movies of the year. And some people have come out giving it 1 stars, but educated people are in the high 3s and 4s. I've got to recommend this. It's so good. It's really, really fun.
It's incredibly refreshing to hear a good review of this movie, certainly after there's been so many people so negative, but I feel like I'm getting a weird insight into your mind that this could have been a 5-star, and that it's a 3.5 star, just half a star behind Tony and Sunny Dancer. Like, I'm really, I don't know what's going on here. This is wild.
That basically sums up what this movie is like. It is such a bizarre experience. Look, it's kind of got all of my favorite genres in it, and we don't have. I'm going to say this. I think Jurassic Park ruined dinosaurs for like movies and shows and everything. The bar was set so high that now we get anything trying to replicate that feeling. It is like a 1 or 2 star movie. And I think this is the closest we've had to the Jurassic Park feeling since, what it's been 30 years, basically. I don't see anything else that gives me this kind of dinosaur feeling. And I wake up every day and I think, God, I hope they announce a dinosaur movie today. I hope someone is out there creating something new for me to watch, because I've had to watch things like, Jurassic World Rebirth, any of the Jurassic World movies I hate. 65 with Adam Driver is just was an awful experience for me, and this brought back that excitement. And for 80 million, I mean, hats off to them. It looks fantastic. It has this great 70s grain to it. It's quite dark and plain, but done intentionally, so it works. It's full of split diopter shots. It's got some really wide framing. It kind of plays with the idea of you don't see the dinosaurs for a long time at the start, and it's very eerie and creeping, and their shadows are sort of brushing through the frames. And I mean, J.J. Abrams produced this. It's got a lot of his isms a part of it. And then you just have it's also like 90 minutes. It's rapid. And a good hour of that is full of dinosaurs. So it itched every scratch I had. My God, I loved it. Please go watch it, everybody. Wow. Such a film.
I am devastated that I didn't get to this one on time so that we could have discussed it. I feel like this would have been our biggest disparity yet in terms of
hey, you've not seen it yet. You don't know. It could be your masterpiece.
Everything you've described doesn't sound that way, but sure, let's see.
I think I very rarely say this, but I think it is very much a film where you just have to submit yourself to the fact it is wild. And if you cinema sins this movie, you're gonna put it at 0.5 star. All right, I'll say that. But if you just accept it for what it is, you might have the time of your life. That's all. That's my final thoughts on that one.
Okay.
Let's pivot to a TV show for a moment, before we do a little movie game. Lanterns. I'm hoping and presuming you've seen the first episode.
I have, yes.
Before, let's do our little usual route of this. Thoughts prior to the show. We've had a rough DC experience recently.
We have.
Were you still excited?
Yeah, I think this one was one of the ones that I was most excited for, because the descriptions for it, the run up to it, the build up about this show being like a true detective style show, the fact that it was like being touted that this is worthy of HBO Max, where it's like prime and prestige kind of TV content. I was very excited. Also excited about Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler, and getting to see them and have that kind of like a buddy cop or a gritty, dark, crimey role. Everything about it really tickled a lot of scratches that I was thinking about, and so I was like, yeah, okay, this is something that I can get behind, and I'm very interested in. So more so than Supergirl, more so than Man of Tomorrow, this is a project that I was very excited for.
Yeah, I think I agree on most parts. For me, the main driver for this was Aaron Pierre. My God, I love him. I mean, even in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, like, he's so phenomenal in that. He's brilliant in Rebel Ridge, which I rewatched last week to kind of prep myself for more Aaron on my screen. So I was kind of excited by the casting. We were told it's basically an intergalactic cop show. I was like, it could be good, but it might just be a reskin of all of your favorite cop shows. So I was a little bit concerned on that part, on the story and how they're going to deliver the Lanterns, who are known for being quite over the top, for at least kind of in terms of what we've seen so far. A terrible movie that does exist. But that's I was very much swayed by that image of the Lanterns. I haven't really seen them since, apart from Nathan Fillion appeared in Superman, and even that very boisterous character. So first episode, a swift 50 minutes, introducing our characters. Definitely a pilot episode. It kind of felt like setting the ground of the tone of this movie. Mainly takes place in 2016 before a big 10-year time jump at the end of the show. But how did you feel around how they're presenting this? It definitely is a gritty, local cop show, I would say, for the time being, with an alien subplot.
Yeah. There were things that I really liked about the episode, and things that I was like not as happy about, not as keen about. Are we okay jumping into spoilers on this one?
I think we will give everybody a spoiler warning for Lanterns. Okay. So I will make sure in the comment section to mark all of our sections with timestamps. Come back to this segment once you've seen the Lanterns. Let's go into spoilers, because I think it's worthy of it.
Great, cool. So I think one of the first criticisms comes from early in the episode, where I was very frustrated, put off, and weirded out by the whole thing of Jon Stewart's dad shooting an apple off his head. So Jon Stewart's at home with his brothers, he's watching TV, and they're all watching this like Green Lantern, and he's like, oh man, he's so cool, I want to be like him. And then like Kyle Chandler on TV, Hal Jordan is like, oh, when they asked me if I had any fear, I was like, no. And when you lose everything, then you don't have fear. And he's like, that's the way to become a Green Lantern. And so the dad comes home, which first of all is confusing, because they're all terrified the dad is coming home. And then he's like, oh, are you going to tell me what he says? And this is clearly a military dude. And he's like, looking for Hal Jordan, maybe? I don't know. It was a pretty weird kind of setup. And he's like, tell me what he said. Where is he? What did he say? And then he's like, go out to the garden with an apple, puts the apple on his head, shoots it off his head. And is teaching him to not have fear, I guess. All of that sequence really just dragged me back and forth on like, what the hell is going on? I don't know if you have more of an understanding or interpretation of it, but for me, I was so lost in terms of why and what was going on. So I'd love, if you have enlightenment, share it. If not, what the heck, man?
I think it was an interesting... I think it's interesting to put that at the start of the show. It kind of felt like maybe a flashback that was due halfway through the season, to let us go, oh, now I understand Jon Stewart a bit more. I think basically the first scene being like, this character you're about to meet had a very traumatic childhood, and the fear was beaten out of him, basically, rather than having a horrific event happen to him, that being the most terrifying thing, and nothing can reach those levels. The dad, in my mind, was like, I'm not going to let you get to a point where you have to experience something terrifying or hard for that to be your moment of like pivotal character development. I think the dad was basically going, I want you to be tough as nails. But also he was kind of punishing him for looking up to Hal Jordan. I think the kids were really excited and wanted to know about the Green Lantern. This Green Lantern's kind of being presented as a celebrity, as this TV show about him. But the military dad doesn't think that the Green Lantern should be here or be their savior. And I couldn't tell.
Do you think, though? Do you think that? Because when it has a 10-year time jump, Jon Stewart, when he's there with Jon Stewart, when he's with Hal Jordan in the car, Hal Jordan jumps out of the car and then he sends him flying with the ring and he's able to like protect himself. And then as he's walking out of that situation, he calls his dad. He's still clearly in a relationship with his dad, still clearly has a connection to him. So it's not like, oh, this terrible traumatic person really damaged me and I never want anything to do with them. And the dad is giving him advice of like, oh, do you want this? Then you go and you push through. So it doesn't feel like the dad is punishing him for pursuing being the Green Lantern and is almost like training or encouraging him towards that thing.
But my problem was I couldn't settle on a feeling, because when they had that phone call, I was like, oh, he's close with his dad still. I thought maybe he would have pushed his dad away because of how he was treated as a kid. So it felt like a weird placement of that reveal, if anything.
Yeah, I really like what you said of maybe it be included as a flashback halfway through the season and give some context to the character. I think that would be interesting. It would have built intrigue. But where it is now, it's so confusing. And especially with only the context of the first episode, I'm like, why does Jon Stewart, above anyone else, even deserve to be trained as a Green Lantern?
Yeah.
They've made a big stink about like, oh, it usually doesn't happen that we train people or that we have people that we're like talking to on the same planet or whatever. Why is he picked? Who picked him? Did the dad connect with Hal Jordan and put him in there? Did Hal Jordan find him? Hal Jordan doesn't like him. So I don't know. There's so many things that are confusing and conflicting, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
My guess is we'll get this flashback in a couple episodes, that maybe there was like a military program where the government were like, right, if you're going to stay on our planet and operate as Green Lantern, you have to train one of our guys. And maybe there was a military program was like, the winner of this gets to become the next Green Lantern. And that was the agreement between the human race and the Lantern Corps. I don't know. I feel like they don't know, maybe, but obviously we've only seen one episode. Yeah. How did you feel about sort of the plot? Because basically the idea is there's this mass shooting at a football game, an American football game, and it's revealed that Hal Jordan always knew it was going to happen, or that there was always going to be an alien invasion, and they're trying to figure out why it's happened, basically. It didn't capture me as a plot point, I'm going to be honest. I just really struggled with this first episode. I put a little reaction out on TikTok yesterday or the day before, being like, you asked me yesterday, where I was like, I don't get this episode. Like, I didn't find it enjoyable particularly. I kind of felt like I was being dragged all over the place. We had one time period, another time period, then another time period. And I basically said, I was like, there was no... Not that I was expecting big action set pieces, but there's no build up to that. There's no evidence of he's training as a lantern. It feels like he's just training as a man that's kind of around police. He's not. Yeah. He isn't any. Jon Stewart isn't anything at this moment in time. He's just a guy. Mm-hmm. And people in the comment section were not happy with how I felt about that. But did you feel the same way?
I would love people to explain to me why they're not happy, though, because I feel like everything you're saying is justified. Everything I've laid out is like real criticisms. Where are the explanations? What is going on with these characters? Why do we have to care about any of what's going on? There's also a lot of predictability. I think the thing that I felt strongly positive about was the way that the characters were framed in that 2016 kind of period. I liked seeing Kyle Chandler play Hal Jordan as like a really proud, egotistical dude. Yeah. Who was full of himself and, really kind of like back-chatting the whole time. I really liked Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart and having this kind of conflict and button heads, but it being a mentor and mentee relationship. I liked that connection. I liked that relationship. And I liked seeing them both be very intelligent when they got to the football field and being like, what do you see? And then deciphering that and almost going like full Sherlock mode where it's like, oh, I can see this and this and this and this.
Agreed.
Like, I think all of that was very, very clever. I enjoyed the way that these characters were built up. But in terms of how the story is being built up right now, and I do think it's intentional, because I've looked at a lot of reviews and spoken to some people who've seen at least half the season or more, and they're like, every episode gets better. I do think this is made as like a non-linear story, and that they're going to be giving us a lot more, and we're going to make more sense of what's going on. But right now, we're as in the dark as anyone at this first episode, and at the end of the first episode. So it just was a little bit too much for me in terms of being so unclear and so unspecific and so jumping all over the place.
I definitely agree. I really like their character dynamic, like between the two of them when they're on screen sharing conversation. I like that. It's everything around them that makes me go, I don't understand your placement here. I don't really get what we're trying to go for. And I'm more intrigued by watching the rest of the show and it's like, how the hell are they going to piece this together, rather than, oh my god, I want to know what's next. So I kind of have like a negative intrigue. But the reviews I've read, like Radio Times have seen like the entire show, I think. And they are speaking very highly about it and like, this is the DC that we want. So it's almost the people that have seen everything, I'm intrigued by their motivation to watch it, not the show itself. Which is, I think, is a bad way for a show to be running.
I agree. I'm very much in the same boat. I don't know, because we haven't seen episode 2, but I don't know if this show could have benefited from having a 2-episode premiere.
Yeah.
And like having a little bit more context going into this first thing. Because the first episode is, let's be fair, stupid. The way they're structuring things, the way they're building things, with only the context of this first episode, it's annoying more than anything else. There's so many questions. There's so many negative kind of feelings hanging in the air. 2016, as soon as it did the time jump to 2016, and they're making a big point of, oh, there's no other Green Lantern. If you've caught anything in the DCU to this point, like you mentioned a minute ago, Guy Gardner exists. So we know in this next time period from 2016 to 2026, Guy Gardner jumps in there at some point, and assumedly, who knows what goes on with Jon Stewart, you know? And then they have this time leap. But as soon as they had that time jump and they were making a point of there's no other Green Lantern, I was like, Hal Jordan is going to die.
Yeah.
Likely at the end of this episode. And that's because I have maybe a little bit of comic book context knowledge where Guy Gardner was like mistakenly essentially made the Green Lantern because Hal Jordan died and then maybe came back after or whatever. But Guy Gardner, it wasn't really meant to be him. It should have been Jon Stewart. And so as soon as they had this 2016 story, I knew they were going to have a leap forward again because we have Superman, obviously, which takes place later on. We have Guy Gardner that exists. And so I was like, okay, so the main mystery of this whole series is going to be Hal Jordan dying. So I knew that from very, very early in the episode. And then I was just left with all these kind of lingering questions and frustrations around, why does this relationship exist? How is this supposed to work? Why is the Green Lantern Corps on board with this guy becoming a lantern? Why is being shot at by your dad as a kid making you brave enough? Like, surely that's also making you damaged enough and traumatic enough. That's going to create more of a Guy Gardner Green Lantern than make a Jon Stewart Green Lantern, as far as I'm like understanding the way those characters build up, because it's someone who resents things or has a lot of anger or aggression. It just was a little bit, it felt really all over the place, and I'm very upset with episode 1, and I'm excited to see more of it. But episode 1 did not do it for me.
Yeah, I again, the twist at the end, I can't say that I saw it coming, but I was confused by the timing. You're like, why are we in 2016 for so long? And I don't have much knowledge of the Lanterns comics or anything like that. But then when it happened that Hal had been shot, I wasn't like, oh my god, I was kind of like, oh. Like, this feels like you spent so long focusing on Hal as a character in this episode. Yeah. It's like, maybe if he was the side character and it was more about, like, this didn't feel like a story about Jon Stewart in the first episode to me. I saw it from the perspective of Hal Jordan not wanting Jon Stewart to be there. rather than Jon Stewart trying to appease and work with Al Jordan. So I kind of just felt a bit defeated by the whole episode, but it's got the benefit of me hearing so many great things about the rest of it that I will keep watching. If I didn't have those reviews, I gotta be honest, I'd probably be switching off already. Like,
I agree.
I try and give shows 2 episodes, 3 episodes at most. But I think, maybe an hour and a half opening episode could have been good. So I'm
an hour and a half or 2 episode premiere, but it really didn't give enough context. It didn't make enough sense with this one.
Agreed. Let us know your thoughts on Lanterns in the comment section down below. Of course, we will, include maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes around the show, every episode that Ben is on, over the next 7 weeks. I think it's running over. But let's try and pique Ben's interest a bit more before the end of the episode, unless you've got anything else to add on any of those points, Ben.
No, I think we're good.
This is Movie Grid. This is a game that I absolutely adore. Basically, for those that are listening, it is 3 actors and 3 rules, and you have to match that actor to the prompt, to the rule. So, for example, here we have Robert Pattinson, and you have to choose a film with a 2-word title. That's his. Or Robert Pattinson, a title that starts with the letter I through P, ignoring articles, or a Robert Pattinson movie released from 2010 to 2016. And the idea is to get the most obscure movie for each of these actors. So you've also got Rosamund Pike and Javier Bardem. So let's start with Robert Pattinson 2-word title. Do you got the rules, Ben?
Yes, you saying the most obscure title though is really throwing me.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah.
We want to try and get the lowest percent possible. So people guess these. It's not going to let me click off now. Why is my... There we go. People will guess maybe The Batman, but that will probably be like 80%, right?
Yeah.
So we have to try and guess Robert Pattinson's most obscure 2-word title movie. Obviously, if we can't think of anything, then we move on. I know we've got Good Time. We've got The Batman. Yeah. We have Boy and the Heron is more words. The Twilight movies are more words. The King. He's in The King. He's in Mickey 17.
Does 17 count as a second word?
I think that's 1 word, yes.
Okay, so Mickey 17 would be 2.
Yes. Mickey 17, I would say, is 2 words, yeah.
Good Time and Mickey 17 are the 2 that I would think about, but they're not the least... they're less known than The Batman.
I would say... Is The King less known than...
Yeah, The King, I don't even know what you're talking about with The King, so yeah, that would be...
The King is French... it's like I think it was like a French versus English battle, and it's got Timothée Chalamet as the lead, and then Robert Pattinson plays.
Oh, I think I have seen okay. I think I've seen posters for that at least.
I'm trying to think other 2-word movies for Robert. What's he got coming up? You can, with this website, you can do films that are releasing in this calendar year, or sometimes. So if Primetime was 2 words, you could do Primetime.
The Drama also came out.
The Drama, I think will be quite big. My guess, I think Mickey 17 or The King will be our best.
I think The King is going to be better than Mickey 17 out of those 2.
Let's go for The King. Do you not want to work? Hello. Why is this now not?
It's so low that they won't even let you guess it.
I know. There we go. The King. Let's see if this comes in. 2.3%. I'm happy with that. Anything sub 10, I'm usually happy with when I play this. So, very, very happy with The King. Let's do Robert Pattinson. Title starts with I through P. So we could do Primetime.
Yes, and because it's a future film, I think it's going to be on the lower side of things.
So I would say instantly we do Primetime. Oh, God's sake. This bloody website. There we go. Let's do Primetime. I think this should be maybe 8%, something like that. Oh, 8.1.
Oh, there you
8.1.
go. Nice.
Happy with that. Released from 2010 to 2016. Robert Pattinson
Okay, so
movie.
low-key movie, something that not a lot of people know about. What was the one that he appeared in with Willem Dafoe?
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
He
I
is
think that's going to be on the lower end.
he is the voice of the announcer in Marty Supreme.
Oh, no way.
That's his like little cameo. Whether he is why is this? Oh my god, this website is really pissing me off. There we go. Why will he be a named character in that movie? Because he's literally the voice of a ping pong game announcer.
What happens if you get it wrong?
We lose a life, and you technically only have 9 guesses. I mean, we can keep going, obviously, but we're trying to get everything correct here.
Well, I think the Lighthouse would be low key and a fairly safe bet as a lower one. But I think if he is in it as the announcer for Marty Supreme, I think that's going to be lower again.
I think Marty Supreme over the Lighthouse. I'm trying to think any other movie that's come out since 2010. The end of the Twilight movies, The Boy and the Heron. Is he?
They're all going to be bigger ones. He's going to be known for even that. The Boy and the Heron.
Okay, I'm going to go Marty Supreme.
Oh,
that's
wow.
one of those pieces of like castings that I know from just like it's so random that I picked up on it. Rosamund Pike 2-word title. Gone Girl. Ladies
that's going to be like 100%.
Yeah, that'll be 100%. Ladies First was the recent Netflix movie that she's in.
Yeah. I just watched that the other day. It was quite good.
I don't know if anybody's watched that movie though.
It's pretty funny. Sacha Baron Cohen is great. I like him a lot.
She's in Now You See Me.
Yeah.
That's
not 2 words though.
She's in what other Rosamund Pike movies are there? For people that are watching, this is what Rosamund Pike looks like. If you can't remember, what she looks like. I honestly, my best guess would be Ladies First, just because it's new and I don't think people saw it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be below 10%, but yeah, I'd put Ladies First.
And is there another film that you can think of?
No.
Okay. Hey, I'll take 3%. I think because nobody saw it.
Maybe.
Title starts with I through P, so A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P. I don't know Rosamund Pike movies. I feel like
I don't know a whole lot of her stuff.
What she was in an action movie called is she in the Grey?
I don't know.
I don't know Rosamund Pike movies.
Rosamund Pike is hard mode.
We'll come back. Rosamund Pike released 2010 to 2016.
Can you put the same movie twice?
Yes, you can, if you wanted to.
Ladies First is probably going to be really low again.
Is that cheating if we just put Ladies First across all 3?
Wait, can you put it for all 3?
I think you can. Oh no, you can't. No, once you guess it, that's...
No. What a shame.
We can
it's
try...
funny that it could have fit in all 3.
We can try Javier Bardem.
Javier.
2-word title, Javier Bardem. He's in a movie that was at Cannes this year called The Beloved.
Okay.
Which I think will be very low. I don't think we can think of anything
that'll be low.
Lower than The Beloved. So I only know that because I had it as one of my booked films. 5%. I think that's fine.
Nice.
I'm happy with that. Title starts through I through P. Javier Bardem movies. No Country for Old Men. God, what else is Javier in?
He's a big meaty villain in a lot of movies.
Is he in any superhero movies?
I don't think so. Has he been in a Bond?
He was in a Bond. He was in Bond. Was he in a Bond?
I feel like he was in one of the Daniel Craig
Was
ones.
he in Spectre?
I think so. But that's not I through P. But that would be good for the last one released, maybe.
Javier movies. Is he a voice? He must be a voice in something. Is he in like? I feel like everyone was in.
Zootopia.
Everyone was in The Wild Robot as well. But I don't know if he was in The Wild Robots.
Yeah, I couldn't say if he was or wasn't.
Is he in Zootopia?
I don't know. A lot of people were in Zootopia.
Specifically the second one. Like, he could be the voice of something in Zootopia, but I don't know.
It would be a guess.
That would have to be 2010, 2016.
Yeah.
But would he be... I'm trying to... Is he in the first one? Trying to think all of the characters. He's not the zebra. He's not the horse. He's obviously not Nick Wilde or Judy Hopps. Not the snake. That's Ki Hee Kwan. We could go. I mean, I don't know. Oh, what's I through Pete movie? There must be Javier Bardem movies out there, obviously. I know. All I can keep thinking of is the Cape Fear show that he's in. That won't count.
Do shows count on this?
No.
No.
I think we might have to put Spectre.
Yes.
God, this is going to be so high. We've been doing so well, and it's going to be... Oh, he's not in Spectre.
Oh, no.
He must be in a Bond movie, though.
I feel like he's definitely... maybe even Skyfall or something like that.
Oh. Damn, okay. Rosamund Pike.
How do you...
I don't know.
How do you normally perform in these?
I usually get like 6 or 7 good ones, and then my brain dies, and then I just get that biggest, most popular movie.
Yeah.
Like in Rosamund Pike, if we can't think of anything, we've got to put Gone Girl.
Was that after 2010?
Yeah, it was 20. Yeah, it has to be after 2010, surely.
Okay.
It was Fincher, 2014, I think. Gone Girl.
Oh, okay. I feel like it's just been around forever.
Unless you can think of something better for Rosamund, we'll put the Gone Girl.
Let's go Gone Girl.
What?
No way is that
No way that's
6.3%.
6.3%. I thought that
Do
was
people
like...
just not know Rosamund Pike? That might be the issue.
This is maybe she's just one of those actresses that's in it. Like, it seems to be everywhere, but you just don't know her. That's wild.
I'm shocked by that.
All right, Rosamund.
I feel more confident putting Skyfall down for Javier Bardem.
Yeah,
knowing that it was 6.3% for that.
Oh. 26.
It's not above 50.
It's not awful. It's not awful. All right. I through P. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Oh, man, I don't know for Rosamund. Anything in that. I just don't know her movies. Javier... I mean, this is our first attempt at the game. So if
He's in a lot of horror as well, isn't he? Javier.
Is he?
Is there any horror movie? I feel like... I mean, between Cape Fear, I feel like he's got to be in other horror-y projects.
Has he got anything coming out? We could obviously just do No Country for Old Men if we can't think of anything. That will be like 70% though.
If we can't think of anything for him or for Rosamund, apart from that, I think that's what we'll be stuck with.
What's Rosamund in? Anything else we can think of her? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. She's not in Knives Out. J, K, L. We've got Ladies First. M. She's often like. We could do. I think we could do Now You See Me. She's in Now You See Me, the third one.
Okay.
I'll take 13%.
Not bad.
I'll take 13%. And then
That's not
Javier,
bad.
can we come up with anything I through P? We've got No Country, which will be really high.
I think that's the only thing that we can guess. We're past the other things.
I, J, any J movies?
And with Gone Girl being at 6.3, maybe people just don't know old movies no more.
Nah, 60%. Damn.
It
Okay.
did stay up there.
So these,
Dang. Wait,
these
is
are
that like the best ones?
These are
they're
the most popular.
popular.
These are the most popular guesses. So for Robert Pattinson, it was The Batman. 20%. I feel like that's quite low. Mickey 17 for I through P, and released from 2010-2016 was Tenant. We didn't even mention Tenant. Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl. So Gone Girl had the really high
Gone
percentage.
Girl was really high on the first one, the 2-word one.
I Care a Lot.
Right.
I haven't seen. Saltburn, of course, is. I forgot she isn't Saltburn.
Yes.
And then Javier Bardem, most popular 2-word title, Ham On, Ham On. We got the most popular for I through P, which is No Country for Old Men, and Skyfall.
And Skyfall. Yeah.
So rarest for Robert Pattinson, Mighty Supreme. We put that on the other one. Little Ashes.
We got less on that one though. We got 0.8%. Oh no, it was 8%, wasn't it, for primetime? Sorry.
Yes, 8%, and then Damsel, 0.5%.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Damsel. I've not watched Damsel.
Rosamund Pike, most rare guesses for 2-word title, Barney's Version. I don't know what that is, but that looks like. I can't tell who that looks like on the photos. But that film also comes up for 2010-2016 as most rare, 0.3%, and Made in Dagenham, 0.6 for I through P. I don't know what that movie is. Javier Bardem, 2-word title, High Heels. I through P was Ham On, Ham On, and 2010-2016 was Loving Pablo. Is that that is Penelope Cruz on the right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I don't think we did too bad at a first attempt there. I'm sure someone at home was screaming at us about correct and wrong answers. That was a little bit fun. Ben, anything else to add for today's episode? Any words of wisdom?
Go to the cinema.
Go to the cinema. Any recommendations?
It's Sunny Dancer. If you've got Sunny Dancer in a cinema near you, go check it out. Otherwise, Tony's a great shout as well. Well worth going and checking out. Whatever you do, avoid End of Oak Street. That is trash.
Cut that out, Oscar.
Nobody likes
when
it.
I'm editing this later, cut that out.
Terrible. Don't. It's not worth your time.
I don't think there's anything crazy out there. Recently on I'm trying to think on what did I watch recently on Letterboxd that I really enjoyed. Oh, I saw Leviticus last night, so I do want to mention that.
How was that?
Oh my, brilliant! So good, so fun. A queer horror movie, basically where this entity displays itself as the person you desire most, and then when you interact with that person, the entity like tries to kill you. It's so niche. Australian indie horror movie. It's got one of the guys from Talk to Me in it. I think some of the producers are the same. It's fantastic. I think people are really, really going to love that. It is coming out in the UK soonish. The US have had it for a while now. So I guess that's my recommendation. Keep an eye out for that. Next week, I'm doing... I don't know what I'm doing podcast-wise. Ben may or may not be here. I don't know what's big this week. We do have Teenage Sex and Death.
There are some things coming out, isn't it?
Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, but my Odeon currently isn't showing that. So... if I do get round to seeing it, that will be my main conversation next week. Ben, what else is there? Is there anything?
There are. Let me just pull it up really quick. Teenage Sex and Death. Then there's Insidious out of the further.
Uh-huh.
There's Mutiny. There's Coyote versus Acme comes out on the 21st. We need to see that.
We could always do another episode like this where we sort of give 10-15 minutes to 3-4 different stuff. I also sometimes want to talk about like the biggest like news in the film industry, so we can always attach that on to the end of the episode. There will be something. I want to go out and see Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, so I hope I can get a screen to that. I'm watching The Odyssey in IMAX 70mm on Saturday. My friend is flying over from San Sebastian in Spain just to watch the movie in 70mm IMAX. They have been at Edinburgh Film Festival as well, which I didn't go to. I'm going to be doing some TikTok videos this week around the BFI London Film Festival. Ben and I are both going as press, which is really exciting. Ben's going for Screen Rant. I'm going for Not That Oscar. My friend is coming as press as well. And there's a couple other people that I've seen that are going. So that's going to be really fun. That's through October. I'll do plenty of vlogs and behind the scenes. And me and Ben will do a preview for that. We've had our 10 films in competition being announced. But once we get the full schedule, maybe we should do a preview episode of the London Film Festival. I think that'd be really good fun. Make sure you check out Ben on all of his socials and Screen Rant. Everything will be linked down below, as will mine. We're on the road to 10K. The plan is this time in October to be on 10K, so got to get a crack on. Let's get Ben to at least 1,000 in the same time.
Let's just get to 1,000. Let's do it.
I think we can definitely do that. Thank you very much, everybody. Make sure you leave all of your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below. Share the podcast, rate it 5 stars. We're on Spotify, YouTube, so much more. Ben, thank you as always.
Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.